Hello, Mixed Nutcases. This is Nuke
And hi, I'm Tech.
He has returned.
I'm back, baby. You thought you could get rid of me, did you?
Nobody thinks they can get rid of you. You're like the gum that sticks to the shoe.
I'm like the stinking gym socks. I'll always be here.
Like glitter.
Glitter.
And I wouldn't want it any other way. But today we're going to be talking about the great outdoors.
That's right. I was gone for 2 months. I spent those months outside teaching some students. And I came back and I want to talk about the outdoors because, well, let's be fair. Our people, our chosen people, our nerdly culture that we hang out with.
We're not big outdoorsy people.
Not really big outdoorsy people.
No, we're not.
And me choosing a career that spends most of my time outside and most of my leisurely hours I want to spend indoors, it does create a bit of duplicity, I guess. And
or frantic contradictions.
Yes, or frantic contradictions, as I am also known. But I guess I just want to talk a little bit about what I experienced on this trip, especially now as an older man. In my very late 40s, in my autumn years, going back into the woods to chase a bunch of 23-year-olds, a bunch of things came to light. And I want to talk about that. But the number one thing that I want to say is you do not have to be afraid of the outdoors. People have been living outside as long as humans have been a thing, and since before that, and we adapted quite well, and you can adapt to the outdoors too. And I can hear you already, but Tacky, I don't like the outdoors because of X. Okay, so take precautions against X, and then go enjoy the outdoors anyways. There's lots of stuff to do, there's lots of things to see, even just going for a walk in the park or a walk down your neighborhood. It is amazing the things that you can encounter outside.
It is not the worst thing in the world.
No, as a matter of fact, I'd hazard a guess and say it is one of the best things in the world. But the one thing that's great about the outdoors is the amazing things that you'll see. And the amazing things that you can experience when you are out in nature. Anywhere, by the seaside, by a river, walking through a park, or just down the street in your neighborhood. It really doesn't matter. You will find amazing things, but nature presents those things to you on nature's time at nature's speed. Like, I don't know, like you and I, we've gone to zoos. We love going to zoos.
Oh yeah, love it.
But how many times do we go to the zoo and you see a kid yelling at a sleeping cat? Come on, do something! Do something! Shrieking at the cat, trying to elicit a reaction from the cat. It's like, well, no, that's not how you go to the zoo.
Yeah.
No, you might see the cat do something cool, like jump over the boulders or whatever, but the cat's sleeping when you went by that day. Okay, so you don't get to see something cool from the cat, but maybe the rhino's doing something cool. Why don't you go take a look at what the rhino's doing?
Or the fox, or the,
or whatever. And you can't plan in advance. I'm going to go to the zoo and see the tiger do something cool. Or, I've been to the zoo 4 times. I've never seen the tiger do anything cool. Yeah, so go a 5th. Maybe he'll do something cool the next time. You don't know. I have had the zoo that we used to go to out east.
Yeah.
I have had wonderful experiences with every animal in that zoo. Took a while.
Yeah.
But, and you couldn't plan who you were going to have an interaction with.
Yeah.
It just sort of happened.
You walk around, you let them live their life, and sometimes their life is interesting.
Yeah, and sometimes you're walking through the forest, and sometimes you'll find a puffball mushroom the size of a soccer ball.
Yeah.
You can't plan that. You just happen to come across it. Or sometimes you'll come across a really cool fallen log, or a neat bug, or a bird, or something.
An epic spider web.
An epic spider web. Who knows? You'll find something cool. But that's, to me, the joy of being outside is you don't know what you're going to discover, and you can't plan it in advance. You just got to go outside and see what you find. Maybe you'll find a really cool seashell on the beach. Maybe a sand dollar. Maybe a horseshoe crab. Who knows? Maybe nothing. Probably.
So I'm gonna sound like a crotchety old lady for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But, and I'm speaking to the listeners. Do you remember when you were a kid and you would go outside and you just stare at an anthill and you'd watch ants build an anthill, or you were just digging in the sandbox or digging in the dirt or whatever it was? Like, there are so many things that we did as kids that were just fun. I used to build epic sandcastles without any special molds. We would just build sandcastles and then we'd get like some of the water to make wet sand to make it a little more structural. And one of my favorite things to do was to dig a tunnel under the sand. It gets washed away the next day, but it was fun. And there's no reason we can't do that now as adults. Like there is that wonder that we had as kids. It's still there and you can find it. I mean, when Tech and I go for walks, I'm constantly looking at foliage like, oh, look at that plant or look at that tree or look just random things that might not sound very interesting. But when you're out there and you're like, oh, I like those purple flowers or I like the way those leaves look, like there's wonder. It's still there.
Hey, Nutty.
Yeah.
While I'm talking, go to your Google Foo.
Okay.
And look up, and listeners, look up the black and green garden spider.
Oh, okay. Did you find one?
I have found more of them out east, but they're all over the place. They are 100% completely harmless.
As most spiders are.
As most spiders are. They're about the size of your thumb, I'd say. They're pretty cool. They live in your garden. They're garden spiders. They eat things in your garden. They happily
usually the orchid or weaver.
Yeah. But they look like science fiction monsters. They are scary looking spiders.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah, one of the cool things they do when they go into they rest in the middle of their web and they pair their legs together.
Yeah,
their 8 legs go into 2 pairs and they make a yellow and black X, like an X-Man logo in the middle of a spider web.
Yeah, they're making a target.
They are so cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Love these guys.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Completely harmless. Yep. No reason to be afraid of them. I'm not going to go around touching them. I'm not going to put him on my hand to make him walk around and stuff. No. He's really cool in his web over there, and there he can stay.
I'm a little envious of some of the people in the more southern states because I have quite a few friends that have jumping spiders. And these are just jumping spiders that they found in their yard.
Yeah, cool.
And jumping spiders are so cute.
Oh, yeah, we had in the woods where we had northern black widows.
Yes, which are less...
Slightly bigger, a lot less ornery, and a lot less venomous than the southern cousins. But you just leave it alone over there, and it's fine. But anyway, the outside is not just full of bugs, and to people that are afraid of bugs, it's not that bad.
Also, bugs are cool.
But my point is, the cool thing about nature is that nature will unfold itself to you when and how it wants to. You just got to be there to see it.
Yeah.
And you can't predict what it's going to be in advance. It might be a really cool bird. We were driving our trucks to get to our next campsite, and as we're driving along this pine forest, a red-tailed hawk came down out of the tree. No, it wasn't a red-tailed. Sorry, it was a peregrine. A peregrine falcon came down, and as I'm driving down the road 30, 40 kilometers an hour, he's staying level with my driver's side window looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's just flying along for a couple hundred meters, just flying alongside beside my truck. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
You get to see all kinds of stuff like this. But, there's all kinds of things to see depending on where you go and depending on the environment that you're there. And my point in telling you is that the outdoors do not have to be scary. They can be a heck of a lot of fun, however you want to interact with them, as long as you are prepared. If it's sunny out, cover yourself up from the sun. If it's windy, cover yourself from the wind. If it's raining, wear a raincoat. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of preparation. You just need to be prepared. A couple things I want to talk about when we talk about preparation. Number one, you guys have heard me harp about this before when we talk about fashion or cosplay or anything, it is footwear. If you are going to spend any money on anything in your attire to go outside, my gosh, please let it be your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Good, durable soles with plenty of support for your feet with a good cushioning insole to absorb the miles that you're going to put on as you walk around. Make sure they fit you properly. Make sure they're fitted to your feet. Make sure they're well broken in. And then get out there and enjoy the outdoors. And if you don't know anything about shoes, go to a really good shoe store like the Running Room and ask them. Don't go to like a Foot Locker. What do they know? Like that teenager in the stripy jersey is there to sell you, 3 different colorways of Air Force Ones. That's not the kind of store I'm talking about. Go to a dedicated outdoors store or a dedicated running store and ask them. Usually, like stores like the Running Room, they'll fit you for free. You don't have to buy anything from them, but they will fit you for your shoes, whether you're pronating, supinating, flat arches, whatever, and they'll find you something that works with your feet to get you outdoors. Take that free advice and run
And
with
if
it.
you're going to be hiking or out in the woods, there are stores for that, and a lot of them have I know up here we've got MEC, which is a formerly co-op thing.
Yep. The Mountain Equipment Co-op.
Yeah, but they often have like beginning hiker, beginning camper, like groups and stuff where people will meet there and you can learn and all sorts of fun things. I actually I've got a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Now that you're talking about shoes.
Let's go.
I want to get some top camping tips. Now, when we say Tech was out camping in the woods, he was out doing military stuff, training and all that.
Well, the students were.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, but
I was kind of glamping.
Well, I know. Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you, quote unquote, camp for work.
Mm-hmm.
You do exercises out in the woods and all around Canada. When overseas, it's whichever country you're in, you're essentially living camping style, just on a larger scale.
Yep.
But
a lot of time under canvas.
Yeah. There's work camping, and then there's recreational camping.
Yip, yip, yip.
So for each of these, I've got different categories.
Sure.
I want to talk about your top tips, and then maybe a little fun thing that you can mention from your recent one for each of these.
Sure.
Okay. So you started with shoes, so let's dive into clothing.
Okay.
For you, what are the essentials for your clothing when work camping or recreation camping? They're going to be different answers, I'm sure.
You know what? They're all going to come out to be the same. My number one thing that I will always carry with me, whether it's the middle of summer or not, is extra mid layers. Mm-hmm. Because it gets really cold at night. No matter where you are, the temperature drop. Even when we were in the middle of the desert.
I was sending you fleecy gym jams.
Yeah, because when the temperature drops 30, 40 degrees, it feels cold all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you're bundling up and you're throwing a sweater on. So a light mid layer to just throw on as things get chilly. But my number one piece of advice is a second pair of gloves. I will always carry a pair of light wool liner gloves tucked away somewhere because I hate having cold hands. And cold hands make everything more miserable, just like cold feet. So a second pair of socks.
That was going to be my next thing. I was going to say, I mean, if you need gloves, if for people that want to pack light, gloves are not what you pack light on. Not gloves, sorry, socks are not what you pack light on.
Pack light, freeze at night.
Yeah.
But you got to keep your feet healthy, so you have to keep your feet dry, so you need to change your socks every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely need.
Yeah, these are not reusable, without washing. I will say for me, if I am camping, I want to have my limbs covered because I don't want to have to deal with bugs, sun, whatever, ticks. I'm all about having my limbs covered as well.
Oh yeah, I'm not. If we're outdoors, I'm not wearing short sleeves.
Yeah, I'm not wearing shorts. I'm not wearing short sleeves.
Nope. And that actually, in most cases, helps you better thermally regulate, anyways, because the sun isn't touching your skin.
Yep.
Loose, light fabrics. I mean, look at people who live in the desert.
Yeah.
They're always wearing like a long, flowing robe type outfit. They've always got some type of head covering. Yeah. I remember once I was overseas. We're at an airfield. I'm working on the hot tarmac, and my boss comes up and she's got her shirt off. She's just in a t-shirt, and she's got the sleeves of her t-shirt rolled up and tucked over her shoulders, to bare her arms. And she's like, "Oh wow, Tech, it's so hot out here. How could you stand working out here?" I'm like, "I've been out here all day." And it was pretty hot. It was like 120 degrees. It's pretty hot out. And She's like, oh, I can't stand it. I'm going to have to go back inside. How could you stand all the heat? I'm like, ma'am, you notice that I got my sleeves down. I've got my wide-brimmed hat on. I've got glasses on. Like, how much of the sun is touching my skin versus yours? Like, it's just not warming me up my core temperature as much. I had my fluids and I was hydrating. I was being smart. But the people that live in these really hot climates, they've adapted to it, and they've adapted to it well, and they've learned, stay out of the sun, cover up.
When I was younger, I was all about tank tops and shorts and all the other stuff. And we were actually, I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt today, and we were walking back from the grocery store, and I said something about tank tops. And I said, well, I wasn't planning on being outside today because I wear tank tops when I plan to stay inside. If I plan to be outside, I plan to wear long sleeves because I have turned into the old lady that wears long sleeves when I'm outside and a big floppy hat. Thank you, Aunt Yay. You have taught me well.
If I'm in the woods, I also like really long socks. I don't like ankle socks, especially if I'm outside in the woods and
tuck your pants into it.
I do.
Yeah.
Not just for ticks, but just for brush and scrapes and abrasions and burrs and
I was going to say you get
thorn
those
bushes and
those burrs, the prickle ball things.
Oh, the burdocks.
Burdocks, yeah. You get burdocks against your skin once, you never want to do that again.
Well, you're in your canoe, you have to get onto the shore, and all of a sudden you're scrabbling over rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks when you're doing that in shorts and sandals.
Yeah.
Or you're riding your mountain bike and you have to take a header off the trail and then you're in a thorn bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not really selling it to people out there, but
no, but that's okay.
Cover up is my point. Yeah. Okay, what's your
right,
next?
So let's talk, since we talked about clothing, let's talk about bags. How do you carry your stuff?
Oh man, my secret fetish.
It is your secret fetish. Now, here's the thing. The military issues you something, and you can talk about what you like. But then personally, you can't take your military bag.
No, and when I'm camping or when I'm hiking or when I'm going out, I don't want to look like an army guy, so I don't carry my army guy backpacks everywhere that I go. The things that I find are important in a good backpack is that it shouldn't be any bigger than what you need, and you shouldn't be carrying anything more than what you need, and need with a capital N here. If you're going,
need, not just in case.
Yeah, well, carrying a packed away rain jacket in case it rains is always sensible. A bottle of water, a couple of electrolytes, things like that. A little first aid kit. That stuff is fine, but you don't need 3 days worth of supplies to go for a 2-hour camping trip around the national park. Next to your house, or the little state park. Carry what you need, and don't carry a big 90-liter rucksack for a trip to the beach. Carry what you need in a bag that's sized. Backpacks can be, especially really good ones, sized to the individual. Try it on. Make sure it fits you. Make sure it fits your torso. If you are carrying any amount of significant weight for a significant period of time, make sure that bag has a waist belt. You have no idea how big of a difference it makes when you are carrying a load for a while to be able to put a belt on and redistribute that weight to your hips instead of trying to rip your arms off by only carrying it on your shoulders. If it has a chest cincher strap, with the chest strap, the waist belt, and the 2 shoulder toggles on the back, all of a sudden you can move the weight around from one shoulder to the other, to higher up on your back, to low down on your hips. And as you're moving the weight around, all of a sudden you get a pinch point in your shoulder. Take the weight off your shoulder. Oh, your back's getting a little sore. Move it up a little higher. You can move the weight around and stay comfortable as you're schlepping this weight, for a long period of time. And by long, I mean like a couple hours or more. It really, really does make a difference.
As somebody who is newer to this stuff, I'm going to share my little experience, and I'm going to say, as somebody who is a larger person, and finding bags is always kind of tricky. Because, it's gotta fit me properly. Mm-hmm. A lot of the waist straps would not come all the way around, or they have padding, but then the padding doesn't even come around my sides. Mm-hmm. So, I need the, I need all of that, stuff. So a couple of years ago, Tech's like, I'm going to get you a good bag. And I was like, oh, I can't find this. I don't like this. I don't like, and we went through and we went to that co-op and we were looking and there was like, well, there's some that are made for long torsos. Did you know, and not you, I'm speaking to the listeners. Did you know that they sell these backpacks that they're adjustable for the length of your torso? There's like a back piece that moves up and down based on your own body.
Yep. And they have male and female versions. A lot of the good companies that make really good bags will make male and female versions because proportions are different.
And I tried different ones and I found that the male worked better for me. But it was finding the right one with the right torso adjustment and what could come all the way around. And we found a really good one. And it wasn't too expensive. It was, pretty good for the price, and I could fit, and we packed everything that we needed to pack in it, and it was a good size. But being able to have that chest strap and have that waist strap and be able to adjust things. And then we took it, like, it wasn't, oh, let's go for a 3-day. No. We've taken it to the LaRose Forest to explore and hike and whatnot and put weight in it so that I got used to it before we did anything. I really love that backpack. We've still not gone for an overnight trip, but that's okay. I'm ready when we're going to go. But if you think, oh, I can't do this, or you think that backpacks of old are what people take, you've got to check these things out. And then the other thing I'm going to say is the packing bags.
Oh, packing cubes.
Yeah. Those are really helpful. Oh, and for me, the saving one for the clothes you're no longer going to wear on the rest of the trip.
Oh, yeah. Having a couple bags inside your bag to keep things dry and to keep things organized, a huge game changer. But, I went and bought, dedicated packing cubes with, waterproof zippers and all kinds of crazy stuff. No, you don't need that. At the start of my career, Ziploc bags.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go to the dollar store, pick up like garbage bags and resealable kitchen bags.
Yeah.
And what I used to do, let's say we're going out for 5 days, is I would have like a big garbage bag, and then I would have 5 smaller resealable bags with 1 pair of sock, 1 underwear, 1 t-shirt, times 5.
There you go.
And I would have 5 bags, my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday bag. And then every morning when you wake up, tear out the bag, perform your ablutions, change into your fresh clothes, and then you start your day with fresh socks, a fresh pair of skivvies, and a fresh t-shirt. Oh, you feel like $1,000.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. And then you start your day. But yeah, no, packing cubes really do make a difference, and you don't have to spend cash. You can just use kitchen bags. They work just the same. But the number one rule that was told to me at the start of my camping adventures, which I know this is a phrase you've heard me say a lot, and we're going to keep repeating it today, is any fool can be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Preparation doesn't have to cost you anything. It costs you nothing but time. Take the time to be prepared. I would tell my students all the time, it's like the kit that you have, like your backpacks and your clothes and your boots, that's yours. And you have all the time before we leave to sort of get comfortable with it. How about trying it on a couple nights before you leave to make sure that it all fits and to make sure that you can reach everything in all the pockets that you need, and that things like sitting down, getting up, walking around, maybe pitching your tent. Have you tried all of these things to make sure that, wow, I really like this water bottle, but it chafes if I wear it on the left side. Maybe I got to move it to the right. Oh, if I move my water bottle to the right side, now I can't get to my map. Okay, where does my map need to go so that I can use all this stuff? Okay, now my water bottle doesn't chafe and my map is on my chest pocket. Okay, I'm good. I can go walking again,
Yeah, yep, exactly.
So, get used to, because there's nothing worse than being, 15 minutes into day one and then realize that you got to strip your whole thing apart because you've got a blister.
Yep.
Or you got a rub point where, oh, this strap is twisted across your low back or something, Yep. So take the time to figure out all that stuff. Next question.
Okay. Shelter. What are your must goes for shelter? And that could be outer or the things that are inside it.
Okay. The number one thing is that your shelter your shelter becomes your home away from home. it becomes your little cave. Once I am in my tent, it is my little cocoon, and everything I need goes in it with me. And then in the morning, I pack everything up, and then we go. When I go into my cocoon, I lay everything out so that I've got my food over here, my ablution stuff over here, my fresh clothes, and then my dirty pile over here that goes in a laundry bag, gets stuffed into the bottom of the bag, and then I can go. I have a little light, I have my little book, I have my cot, and I'm ready to go, or, you know, however I'm sleeping, and then I'm ready to go to bed. I don't want to open that zipper again because I don't want to let the hot air, if it's cold outside, I don't want to let the heat out. If it's, I don't want to let the bugs in every other time of the year. So once that zipper is closed, I am in my sacred cocoon. I bought a bug bivvy this year, which made a huge difference, which is just, think of like the smallest possible tent, just big enough to put a sleeping bag in, made of mosquito netting. I put my sleeping bag in that, went to sleep inside this thing, no bugs. Amazing. Oh my God, the night's sleep. But
I think you also discovered that your little, and when I say air mattress, it is not what people think of, like the big inflatable ones that you have in the house. This is less than an inch high. That you actually got a proper functioning air mattress.
Oh, that was years ago. Yeah, but for the first part of my career, I thought the air mattress just sucked because over the night it would deflate and then you'd end up sleeping on the ground. I thought everybody's was like that. No, mine was just broken, and it took way too many years.
For over 20 years, he's been sleeping on this broken thing.
Sleeping on this broken air mattress. Now I got a new air mattress and it works just fine. The big thing with camping, with sleeping outdoors, that I will say, like my big number one top tip is, the one thing that everybody forgets is when you get out there, I got my sleeping bag, I've got my waterproof bivvy bag for my sleeping bag, I've got my air mattress, I've got my tent, I've got my cot. Crud, I didn't bring a pillow.
Yeah.
Pillows are big and they're bulky and they take up a lot of space, so you tend to kind of forget about them and you worry about the other stuff. You don't need to bring like the big anime body pillow that you sleep with at home into the woods, unless that's your thing, and then bring it, it'll be fine. But I bought for this trip, I'll show it to you later, Nutty. I don't think I showed it to you. I bought
you showed it to
my
me.
inflatable pillow.
Yeah.
It's half the size of a water bottle. It's tiny.
Yeah.
It weighs nothing. It inflates, and it is the most comfortable thing. Oh my gosh, the quality, the improvement it made to my sleep. I wanted to make sure it worked. I wanted to see if I could get a good night's sleep with it. When I was back at home before the trip, I slept with it for 2-3 days just to try it out, to make sure I could sleep with it and to make sure that it worked. Get the adjustments done before I hit the woods. And yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, sounds awesome. All right.
But yeah, that's my big thing. Get away from the bugs. Keep everything organized. Keep everything clean. And
so then it rolls into my other thing is, what do you do for bugs? So we've got your sleeping situation, but you're hiking through the woods.
A good quality DEET repellent works very well. If you can wash your clothes in promethrin or get promethrin infused clothing, that works very well, especially for ticks, to keep them off your pants. Promethrin works very, very well. There's all kinds of products out there. I'm not going to hawk for any one product in particular. Find something that works for you. Some people are better around bugs, and some people are more attractive to bugs than others. I know they swarm around you. They tend to leave me more or less alone.
I am a magnet.
I know a lot of people gain a lot of comfort from those head mosquito nets, just to keep them from buzzing around your ears. And they work very, very well. There's also bug shirts and things that you can get, but I have very rarely been in the woods to the point where the bugs are that bad that I would need a head net. But if I was going any further up north, if we were going into like mosquito country, the mosquito is Ontario's national bird or provincial bird. Yeah. So I would get a head net, and they do work a treat. Absolutely.
There was that one forest area that is named after you that we were going through, and it was absolutely torturous for me, but you were having no problem, and that's when I bought my head net.
Oh, it sucked. Like I was swatting them away. Yeah, it was a lot of mosquitoes, I will admit, but you needed
it wasn't
a head.
just mosquitoes, it was just bugs.
Well, it was horseflies and
Yeah.
black flies,
Yeah.
and you were suffering and screaming and suffering and spitting, but it was a bad go in the woods.
But it was a great trail. I want to do it again, and I bought a head net.
But yeah, to the advice, a good high quality DEET repellent, permethrin in your clothing, and a head net if you need it, and you'll be fine from the bugs. Along with bugs, the other top tip is if you are in an area that has ticks, do a tick check.
Every time.
Do a tick check.
Yep.
Learn what the signs and symptoms are. Learn what they look like, and if you need to, learn how to get rid of them. Do a tick check, and if there are zones on your body that you can't check yourself, get a buddy, and buddy check it up.
And if you remove a tick from your body, take a piece of tape it to a card, put the date on it. If any symptoms show up, you mail that tick in.
Yep, and there are proper tools that you can get. Don't burn them off, and don't try to rip them out.
Tweezers at the base of the head, pull the head out.
Well, if you rip it and you only get half of it and the head's still in there, now you got bigger problems. Yeah. But just be careful and don't think anything I say is medical advice.
Yeah. Check the old wives' tales; they're not that great.
I will say my tick check story.
Oh, yes.
From my friend of mine.
Tell that story. That's a great story.
He had been camping in the woods for a long time, and he got home and he dumped all of his gear on the front steps, and he walks in the house. His girlfriend's there. He's like, I'm going upstairs. I'm checking myself. And he goes upstairs to the bathroom, and he's doing a tick check, and he realizes that there are zones on his body that he can't see himself, and he realizes
with a mirror.
Even with a mirror, and he's been in the woods for 2 weeks, and he's been crawling around, and he's really dirty, and he's like, I gotta check, but I can't quite see what's going on back there. So he calls downstairs to his girlfriend, honey, can you come up here and help me for a second? And when she walked upstairs, he was bent over and fully spread, awaiting inspection. And as she's checking him over, he's thinking to himself, like, wow, she didn't even bat an eye. Like, she didn't question it. She didn't laugh at me. She didn't nothing. She just went up and helped me. I gotta marry this girl. And he proposed to her that night.
That's how you do.
That's love right there.
And I mean, when it comes to ticks, who cares? It's you got to be safe.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. So we are going to finish up with, and I know you've got some good stories from this recent trip. Food.
Oh man, food. The beauty of so much of your morale comes from food and being well fed, and the little tradition that we had come up with on this course was, the students would go to bed, they'd start their nightly routine. It's about 10, 11 o'clock every night, and the rest of us were like, you know what? Noodles. And we would all go to the tailgate of one of the trucks, we would all pull out our camp stoves, and we would all make ramen noodles, and we would have our 11 o'clock noodles.
So, if you think that this is not a geeky activity, every single one of them brought out their favorite ramen. Now, did you guys have comparison about different ramen brands or flavors?
Oh yeah, and we all made fun of each other, and we all had things, but they really, I'm not a big fan of kimchi, but they had this one, I think it was the Shin.
Oh, the Shin kimchi?
The spicy kimchi. The problem with that one is they would eat the spicy kimchi at like 11 o'clock at night, and the next morning before breakfast, it made its exit. And they had to be, after the first couple of nights of them eating this spicy kimchi, they had to start being a little more strategic in which night are we going to eat the spicy noodles, because if you have a 6 a.m. shift with the students, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. So you had to plan it and be strategic.
That's funny. But yeah, so out and out, totally geeky. Everybody's out there having ramen noodles.
Yep.
And yeah.
And they brought these like brand new stoves They work really, really cool. They work really, really well, and they're very easy to light, and they use these little fuel canisters and they're everything. And I pull out my dinosaur of a stove
that you recently bought. It's not even a dinosaur. It's a new dinosaur.
But it's an old design. It's called. Can I plug a brand name?
You can put it on there.
It's MSR Whisper Light. It is a multi-fuel stove. It'll run.
They're
on
not
diesel.
paying us.
It'll run on. Please, MSR, pay me.
No.
But it'll run on any fuel. You have to adjust the little jets. But the thing is that it's designed to work on a mountaintop with whatever fuel you have. So it's
like our generator. We can use whatever fuel we want.
But it is robust and it works. And here I am lighting they turn on their little stoves, and then click 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 poof, and all of a sudden their water's already boiling. Mine is still warming up, and I've got to adjust the jets, and I've got to adjust this, and then I get my stove going, and things are great. And they're like, your stove is from like the 80s. I'm like, yeah, and I'm from the 70s. So what's your point?
I still don't have like a picture. They have like these the flat Colemans. Or
what, their stoves?
Yeah, what are their stoves that make them so much better than what you have? I can't imagine what is better.
It's called a jet boil.
A jet boil. Okay.
They're pretty cool. The reason why the only reason I don't like them is if you buy the jet boil stove, you have to use the proprietary jet boil canister.
Ah.
So I don't want to.
Oh, I've seen these at the store. Okay.
Yeah, they're really cool and they work really good, and they do boil water really, really fast. But you need to use their fuel.
Yeah.
So if I can't go to the store and buy that can of fuel, I can't use my stove. The beauty of my MSR is it's multi-fuel, so I could siphon the gas out of the tank of my car. I could siphon the gas out of my neighbor's car.
It's also pretty expensive.
Yeah, but comparable. They are really cool, and they do boil water really fast. Their stoves are a lot faster to light than mine, but if both stoves are lit, mine would boil water faster.
Yeah.
But mine's basically a jet engine.
Oh, this is funny. I'm looking, and one of the images is somebody making ramen noodles.
Ha!
It just goes to show, this is the thing. This is the test. People bring ramen when camping. That's fantastic. It's a whole new world.
The one other thing I want to add about camping while we're here is I want to talk about cold weather camping.
Yeah.
Because we went out in May, and I packed for spring to summer camping.
Yeah.
And we woke up one morning to 2 inches of snow.
Yep.
Man, was it cold. Man. We suffered so much. And of course you wake up at 3 a.m. and you have to pee, but you don't want to leave the tent, but you can't stay in the sleeping bag, and you don't want to pee in a bottle, so you got to leave the tent. And man, it's cold and it sucks. But winter camping and cold weather camping is nothing to be afraid of. It can be I find it a lot of fun. You just need a little bit more preparation, and you don't need a lot more kit. You just need to be smart about it. As you're working, you're going to sweat. Your sweat is going to condense. That sweat is going to turn to ice, and it's going to get cold, and then you're going to freeze. So multiple layers, being able to remove wet layers and letting them dry while you put on dry layers, very, very important to survive in cold weather. A lot more than it is in the a lot more noticeable, when it doesn't work compared to the hot weather stuff. That I will say another point that I wanted to bring up about camping, being an old man and going camping again. When I started my outdoor adventures, here's a question for you, Nutty. Mm-hmm. Why is all the old-timey army clothes from the 1800s through the Second World War and into Korea and all that, why is all that clothing made of wool? Why is army clothes always made of wool?
There's some hygienic reasons.
Yep.
There's
one really big reason I want to get to.
It doesn't melt.
No, well, the big reason is that wool is one of the only fabrics that stays warm even if it's wet.
Yes, that too. Yeah, it stays warm even when wet.
So up until when I started camping in the late 90s, every piece of like cold weather clothing we had was wool, and then it started getting replaced with synthetic fabrics and Gore-Tex this and Tinsulate that, and all of these things, micro fleece this, blah 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 blah. And the last, 10 years or so, there's been this revolution of, oh my God, merino wool is amazing. Do you know how great wool is?
Yeah, everybody's back.
Now
Well, 'cause
everybody's
it's
ditching
wool.
synthetic fibers and going back to
they're
wool.
Going back to wool. And it's because it's wool that's thin and it's wool that's not scratchy. Yeah.
But
yeah.
wool will save your life. I only wear wool socks. Yes, they're smart wool, but I only wear wool socks because they're what my feet like, and they keep my feet dry, and my feet don't stink, which is really important because I have stinky feet.
Well, again, that's the hygienic, because it will breathe and it will allow airflow.
Moisture wicking,
Yep.
and all that good stuff. Yeah.
And then the not melting is with synthetic fibers. If you're exposed to things that are very warm, like you might in the military, things can melt.
Yeah, so
Polyesters.
so things like those synthetic nylon like compression shirts and stuff, if you get too close to a fire, they melt.
Yeah.
And when it melts next to skin, it sticks to skin, and that's a burn, and that's
You're gonna have a bad day.
You're gonna have a really bad day as they have to peel that off. So if fire is a hazard where you're going, make sure you're wearing the proper fire-rated clothing for the activity that you're doing.
So, when you and I got together, when we got married, you were like, I love cold weather camping. I love cold weather. I have never been cold weather camping. And I said, yeah, you have fun with that. You enjoy that. You go do cold weather camping. Mm-hmm. I'm going to admit something on the podcast that might get me in trouble. Mm-hmm. The more I think about it, the more I think, I think I might prefer cold weather camping.
'Cause there ain't no bugs.
And that's the reason. I'm sitting here going, there's no bugs and I won't be hot.
I will say the worst part of cold weather camping is having to pee at 3 a.m. Because you are warm in your sleeping bag, in your cozy tent, and you are warm and snuggly, and you have to leave that cocoon, and when you unzip that sleeping bag and stick the first leg out, there is the sharpest nope. And you gotta brave it. You gotta get out there.
There is that.
That is the worst part.
Yeah.
Oh, that and falling through the ice, but
yeah, we'll skip that part.
We'll skip that part. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But I want to get back to the cooking thing. So with the little stoves and everything. Yep. The camping that I have done is usually sanctioned campsites. Is how I've never been like, I'm going to go and portage and find my own spot in the wilderness. Like, I am not that adventurous. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I've done a lot of, okay, I've got a camp spot. I'm going to go and I'm going to camp out. And so, my favorite is to drive to said camp spot, go do all your activities, and then come back, and then all the stuff you want can be in your car.
Yes. That's not a rucksack. That's a truck sack.
That's a truck sack, yes. And my brother is very big on overlanding, which is your tent is your car.
Yeah, never, and you shall never touch the ground.
Yes, and he's got a Subaru, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, overlanding's awesome, and
he's got this thing where, like, when they're sitting around the campfire, they have this like extendable awning, and they put their camp chairs under it, and they can cook and do all these things. And so if it starts raining, they can still be cooking and doing all their things. So a lot of those kind of campsites, they have a fire pit, so you can cook on the fire pit. I never had to do the camp stove thing, but you've got a camp stove, and if you are going to be doing a lot of that, I want to take one of your tips that came from bags and use it here. If you want to be one of those adventurous, I'm going to fish and eat it. Yeah, okay. Good luck, because if you are relying on that, you're not going to catch anything. But you want to have your backup, right? And, there's ration packs and things that you can do. Or you can take items, put them in plastic bags, freeze them up or whatever you need to do, and then boil them in water. You know, and you can take your plastic bag. You know, we saw somebody on YouTube. He's like, "I've got pad thai," and he put a plastic bag of pad thai in his little
little boiling vessel.
In his little
he boiled
boiling
it up,
vessel.
and he had hot pad thai. You can absolutely do that. You can buy all kinds of food in bags,
or you can just make it yourself.
Make it your own. Bring it in a cooler. Yeah, absolutely.
What's the ones that you bought? Like, it's going to be gross.
The beauty of like the single burner stove that I've got with like the little cooking pots. Think of. And I know you can find all kinds of recipe books and things for like
I'm sure.
I'm talking about like one pot recipes. You know, you can see that like for in a kitchen, right? You don't want to mess a lot of, so you can have like one dishes. You can do the same thing in the woods. Nothing's saying you can't bring like little individual like shakers of, you know, your favorite spices or whatever and cook over your little camp stove. You don't have to eat, you know, a meal out of a bag.
Yeah.
That's just easier and quicker to prepare, but there's nothing stopping nobody.
Yeah, so you can have your favorite things, you can have fun, but also like s'mores.
Heck yeah.
And I'm gonna say, just because you like to do the going out in the woods, whatever, there is nothing wrong with glamping. If that's what gets you to the outdoors, there is nothing wrong with it. If you want a big old pillow, go right ahead. Like I said, having a truck sack is totes fine. And, you know, one of my sisters did a cross-country trip years ago. And when I say years ago, we're talking a different century. And she had a tent. And she would go and she would camp out. But many a night, she's like, I just don't want to put up the tent. And so she camped in her car. And that's fine, too. You know, this is one of these things where, what is it? When you're poor, they call it being homeless. When you're wealthy, it's called camping. But you know, that's totally legit too. Like there's overlanding's a thing. Glamping is a thing. There are different ways to find this activity and make it comfortable for you. I know some people, they rent a camper to go camping, and that's fine. I grew up not camping, but I grew up having a sailboat. We essentially were camping on a sailboat, glamping.
Yeah, but
awesome.
It got you outside.
It got me outside, exactly. It got me doing something.
And
doing
that's
something
the point.
Different. Yeah.
I prefer the austerity of, you know, packing in and packing out everything that I'm going to carry. Just because it allows me to go. It allows me to go places. I don't have to worry about, you know, my vehicle or all that. And I can go further and I can explore. And I'm not afraid of sleeping on the ground or eating food out of a bag or, you know, mosquitoes, because I will take precautions for that. Winter camping is nothing to be afraid of. Like I said, you just have to prepare. Same thing with everything. Camping a little more austere or doing something a little lighter weight. I know a guy, one of our students, that had crossed the country with a mountain bike, and he bike packed.
Yeah.
Everything he carried on panniers on his bike or a ruck on his back, and he biked across the entire nation that way. So it can, you know, it can be done. It's just on the compromises and sacrifices that you're willing to make. I know some people that refuse to sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
I know some people who need porcelain.
Okay.
They need porcelain fixtures. Fine. There's certain activities that you're not going to be able to do, and you have to accept and understand that, and that's cool. If that's where you draw the line, but understand that there's lots of things that you can do that, okay, like I don't want to sleep on the ground. Why? Bugs. Okay, so get a bug bar, or, you know, get a little cot, or get something. You know, there are options out there. I find there's a lot of people that make up these scenarios in their head. Like, I had a friend of mine once, I was telling him about the martial art that we do, and he's like, oh, I could never do something like that. I wear glasses. Like, so do most of the people I practice with. Everyone wear glasses. Yeah, but if I break them, I can't drive, so I wouldn't be able, I couldn't go home if I was stuck without my glasses, so I can't go do that. I really want to. It sounds like a lot of fun, but it's like he had defeated himself.
Yeah.
And he had come up with like, these ridiculous scenarios to prevent himself from going and trying something for whatever real reason.
Yeah.
And I find the outdoors, in general, I see a lot of people like, oh, I can't do that. I can't go camping. I have diabetes.
Yeah.
So, You know, I can't go outside. I'm wheelchair bound.
Yeah, and you know what?
Okay.
If camping's not your thing, that's okay. And that's the other thing. A lot of times, like, we'll talk about stuff and people will go, "Oh, I can't," because you don't have to give me a reason. You can just go, "Oh, okay. It's not my thing, but okay." You know, like, nobody's asking for why you don't do this. I'm talking about this. This is all in theory. The last time we went camping, we didn't live in this province, so it's been many a year. This is mostly in theory. Like, we do hikes and stuff. We do day trips, but like, you do it a lot more often than I do. And
yeah, because work makes me.
Yeah, because work makes you. But honestly, like, there's a lot of things where there's somebody that you want to do one of these camp kayak trips and all the other stuff. And I'm like, yep, you guys have fun. You know, it's not going to be my thing. And I don't need a reason. I don't have to give an excuse as to why I'm not going to do it. Or I can't do it. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, you guys have fun.
I do not consider myself a prepper, but the area of the country that we live in is prone to storms.
Yep.
And it is prone to...
We've done more of that, yes.
And it is prone to long-term power failures. I mean, the area that we live in routinely, I'd say every 2 or 3 years, loses power.
You're jinxing us.
Loses power for up to weeks. Now, we've been very lucky.
Yeah. We haven't gone longer than 3 days.
2022, the big derecho,
yeah.
We lost power for 14 hours. I think it was just a day.
I thought it was a day and a half.
Maybe.
Because because we moved our stuff the next day.
Yeah.
And then our freezer stuff, and then we got it back like maybe
a few hours later.
Yeah,
like
a few
6
hours later. So
but
it was like more than a day.
Yeah, the other one, when we lived out east, it was Hurricane Adam.
Yeah.
We lost power for 3
and Sandy,
days.
You weren't there for Sandy, but I lost power during Sandy.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
We lost power for, I think, 3-4 days.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not a prepper, but I'm starting to build up this gear so that if we have one of these multiple day power failures, we aren't stuck. And that's why I went with the multi-fuel stove, so that if we're out of power for a month, I'm not relying on whether my hardware store has Jetboil fuel canisters and I don't want to stockpile them. I can use the fuel out of my lawnmower.
Yeah.
Or out of whatever I can get from the gas station to keep my stove going so that I can feed us. And if you want to try winter camping, my love, we live on 2/3 of an acre.
Yeah, I know. We could do it right here. I will say that
I can throw up a tent in the yard, give you a sleeping bag, and we can try it. You can see what it's like.
Oh yeah,
because it's not that bad.
Well, during the derecho, one of the nights, the first night, it was, you know what? No, we had at least 2 nights. Anyway, doesn't matter. The first night, we had a tent outside, like an eating tent, right?
We had a gazebo.
Yeah, and we had screens on it. And I had a hammock in there. I'm like, I'm sleeping out here. It's so hot. I'm sleeping out here.
Yeah, it was very stuffy in the house, and without fans or air conditioning, it was much cooler to sleep outside.
Unfortunately,
the trains were shoveling around on the tracks, so as we were trying to get some sleep outside, it was
how many times you woke up a lot. But I also the bugs did find their way under the tent because it wasn't like secured down. It was just like a regular gazebo, and I did wake up to bug bites, but it was lovely. But we've had quite a few of these outages, and it's okay. We're not making what we thought we were going to make for dinner. Let's boil water and make noodles, or let's do this using the camp stoves, using the this, using the that. And like you said, that one time, was it Hurricane Adam or whatever it was, we were without power. Our friends were without power over the river. We went over there. We were helping them cut down, cut up trees that had fallen down. You had so much fun with a chainsaw, and we're cooking, outdoor barbecue and camp stuff. And, it was a blast. We cooked, the meat we took from our freezer and some potatoes wrapped in foil and put them inside the fire pit. Oh, it was
the hurricane cooked my dinner.
Yes, the hurricane cooked our dinner. I mean, and then there was that one time we were without power overnight in the middle of the winter. Now we had our generator by that point, but we just We hooked up our TV to the generator.
No, let me tell that
Okay,
story.
you tell that story. Go ahead.
No, it was, we had hooked up, the important appliances.
Yes.
So the fridge and freezer hooked up to the generator. Okay, we've still got power. Okay, hook up a space heater so that we can keep the living room, you move everything into the living room. Okay, so we can keep this one room warm and we can sleep. Unfold the couch, make a little fort, make a blanket for it, get the generator, get the thing going. Okay, we've still got power. I can get a kettle going. Okay, get the kettle going, boil some water, make some noodles. Okay,
There
fed.
is logistics of turning off certain things when you turn on other things.
We're fed, we're warm, we're bored. Of course, it's the middle of winter, so it's dark. There's nothing to do in the evening. There's, and then I'm like,
How many games of crib can you play?
Yeah, so we play some cards, and then it's like, okay, you know what, though? LEDs famously don't draw a lot of power. So the draw from the TV is not going to be that plug the TV into the generator, plug the Nintendo Switch into the generator, turn on a little two-player game. I think we played Mario Kart or Mario
Party. Yeah.
Yeah, play some Mario Party.
It was fantastic. We had ramen. We played Mario Party. We went to bed.
There we are with a 55-inch TV going in a power failure. Heck
and then
yeah.
at like 4:30 in the morning,
Blue.
and everything turns on, and we're like, all right, everything's turned on. Let's turn off the generator. Okay, we're going back to bed. We'll figure everything else out in the morning.
Exactly.
It was a great time. So having these preparedness helps in those situations.
Yeah, but you do not have to be afraid of the outdoors. You have to be prepared. And when you are out there, any fool can be uncomfortable. So what's the worst piece of gear? What's the worst piece of gear for a camping trip?
Ooh, the gear you didn't bring?
The gear you didn't bring. Exactly. Well, I've got a really good raincoat. Where is it? In my closet at home. Well, maybe you should have brought the raincoat. And I don't know. It happened quite a bit with the other staff, with the students, where, I remember the one, we were going on a walk. We were going for a pretty big hike. And I'm like, I know they're going to forget stuff. And we were planning to walk like overnight. So it's 3 pairs of gloves, 3 sets of batteries, 3 liters of water, 2 extra headlamps. This is all the stuff that I know they're going to forget. I brought myself my little lightweight hoodie just in case things got cool in the middle of the night, a rain jacket, and then all of the stuff that I need to do my job, my maps, my radios, my clipboards, my orders. I got everything on me. Homie, I suffered so hard. I was carrying so much stuff. And these kids, these 20-year-olds, ricocheting through the woods like it's nothing. Hey, are you okay? No, I'm dying. Thank you for asking. Are you hurt? Not more than usual. The doctor tells me the clicking in my hips and ankles is completely normal. I sound like a ticker tape machine.
Mm-hmm.
Clickety clacking. Hey, those things those things that the kids play with. It's a dome of plastic on wheels with a little handle, and you push it back and forth on the ground, and it makes the little balls pop up and down, and it makes that little popping, clicking noise. That's the Foley you're going to use for my ankles when we make my life into a movie. Okay, I am suffering.
Yes.
On this hike. And they're like, why did you bring all this stuff? Because I knew you guys would forget everything, so I had to make sure you didn't die in the woods.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We did fine. It was a great trip.
Now, that brings up a great question. What is the biggest difference camping for work in your late 40s versus your early 20s?
The biggest difference is that as a man in my 20s, I could just suffer and I'd be fine. I could suffer through the heat or suffer through the bugs or suffer through the cold or suffer through the sleep deprivation. And I was like, I don't need to bring that kid. That kid's heavy. I'll just suffer and I'll be fine. Tough. Yeah. Now that I'm in my late 40s, no, I am tough. Cool. Do I have to be tough? No. Is it cold? I'll put a hat on. Ooh. I remember one day, not on this section, this was years ago. It is minus 40. We're outside working. We're doing some work. It is cold. The guy next to me is wearing wool gloves and a spring jacket. I am in my full bib pants, my full parka, Arctic mitts, balaclava, mucklucks. I am covered head to toe in Arctic survival gear. And the guy looks at me and he goes, "What's the matter, buddy? Are you cold?" I said, "No. Are you?" He goes, "I'm freezing." Whose fault is that?
Yep.
So one of the things I would always add is the phrase cold, wet, and miserable. You can't control the first two, but you can definitely control the last one. So change your socks, change your gloves, bring mid layers, swap them out, dry your clothes, be prepared. Think about it in advance. Bring more socks than you think you need. There is, oh man, I hate wet feet. I hate having wet feet. I tried, when we went on that last walk and I'm suffering with my bag, we had to do a creek crossing and there's a log over the creek and they're all, nimbly pimbly walking over this log one at a time. It's like, I am not going over the log. I am going to take a header and I am going to go in the creek. I'm like, oh, there's these rocks here. I'll just walk across the river. Yeah, my second step, my left boot to the mid-calf in the creek.
Oh.
Yep, hop to the other side. Yep, great. I've now got one wet foot. Fantastic. Squish, squish, squish. Thank gosh we were going home at the end of that walk because...
It's really funny to me that you are, now that you're older, you're thinking, oh, I want more comfort. I want to bring more comfortable things. And as I'm getting older, I'm like, and maybe this is my naivete, but I'm like, actually, I'm okay trying it without having everything in a car.
Yeah, but that's not to say that we're not going to plan it smartly, and you're going to bring, appropriate mid layers, and you're going to wear dry socks, and you're going to do that.
I'm just less scared of the idea.
Yeah, you don't have to be afraid of it. Is my point. You just got to be prepared, and you're right. Cold weather camping. The no bugs draw. Is a big thing, and I will say that in the middle of the night in the woods in winter, silence like that is something I don't think you've ever experienced. Being on the water, I'm sure can be pretty quiet, but you've always got
the noise of the water.
You've got the noise of the water, the slapping against the hull, and you've got the lines and the rigging, and you got all that. You've got all those. None of that.
Yeah. I will say, I thought I knew what quiet on the water was until I did quiet on the water during the big, was it 2003, Northeast power outage?
Mm-hmm.
One that went down the whole eastern seaboard. Yeah, that was quiet. That was wild. But yeah, so that was the great outdoors. And we mostly talked about camping and the idea of camping. But I think that works, especially with the whole like John Candy Great Outdoors movie sort of a deal. You did not run into any bears, correct?
No bald bears.
No bald bears? Excellent.
But bear tracks, coyote tracks, turkey tracks, saw a lot of raccoons, a lot of porcupines. At night you could hear the woods that we were in, there were 3 distinct packs of coyotes. Mm-hmm. And at night we were in the middle of the 3 packs and you could hear their long distance phone calls from each other. And then they'd start a howl. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's such a cool sound. But I like being outside. I like being in the woods. I like going on my bike. I like, a day outside is better than a day in the office. Guaranteed. You just got to be, you just got to be prepared, and you don't need to be afraid of it. It's not that bad, guys. It's really not that bad. You will see some of the coolest stuff. You will hear some of the coolest things. You will find and discover things in nature that you won't see anywhere else. And it's not just all bugs.
No.
You will see other cool things, but you just got to be prepared. And whatever your limitations are, you don't like bugs, you're in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's a way to get out there. There's a way to do it.
Even if it's just your backyard.
Yeah.
So, you were in the woods for like 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make you want to go camping more?
Yeah. The hard part is finding a place to go, and because like all the parks around here are all full, and they're always like already reserved, and they're full of people. And if I'm going camping, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be around people. If I'm going to the woods, it's to be in the woods. It's not to have to put up with his music in the campsite next to me, and the teenagers partying, and no. I don't want to go.
That is something that's
going to a public beach is one thing, and I do like going to public beaches, and I mean sure, and I do like a good swim. But if I'm going into the woods, I'm going into the woods.
Yeah, that is one thing that I'm starting to notice, that growing up, when you'd be out near campsites or out on boats and things like that, it was people understood that, okay, there's a lot of people here. We're all kind of doing the same thing. And you want to be respectful to other people, so you don't want to make a lot of noise that leaves your area. But now you go to like these places and there'll be boats tied up and they've got their music blaring. You go to campgrounds and they've got music blaring. And it's like, why do you think you get to decide what everybody here is listening to? Oh, it's just, I know I'm a grumpy old lady, but dang. Just makes me grumpier. So I kind of get the whole, like, I don't want to be around people. I'm a geek. I don't like people.
My whole idea
Yeah.
is that you shouldn't know I'm there.
Yeah.
And when I'm gone, you'll never know I was there.
Yes. That is the big camping thing. It's you take out whatever you bring in.
Leave no
Nothing.
trace. And I don't just mean bury your trash.
Yeah.
I mean...
No, don't bury your trash. Take your trash out.
I mean, leave no trace.
Yeah. Leave only footprint.
And even then,
Well,
rake them behind you like a sand trap on a golf course.
I also grew up where a lot of people that did camping, they were camping on the beach. So beach camping is a whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But you shouldn't even know I'm there.
Yeah. Always leave things the way you found it or better than you found it. And that's a good rule of thumb for life, right?
The thing, yeah. And when we were setting up our tents, I remember we have these little collapsible shelters that we can make, little 2-man shelters. And I was working with my this new coworker, and he's like, "Oh well, my buddy's got this big tent, so I'm going to go sleep in the big tent. So you get the 2-man tent to yourself." I'm like, "Oh, I get a palace. I get the 2-man tent all to myself. Wonderful." The thing is, if your body heat is the only thing warming the tent, the smaller it is, the warmer it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are making these huge palaces of tents, and they're suffering in the cold because there's so much volume inside the tent that their bodies can't keep it warm. My tent was 18 inches tall.
Mm-hmm. You were warm.
It was down. I remember waking up in the morning, and I'm sleeping on my back. I open my eyes, and the tent is just in front of my face. Like, I can't sit up in this thing. The tent is right in front of my face, and I reach up with my hand, and I'm scraping frost off the inside of the tent. Mm-hmm. But I was cozy.
Yeah. I believe it.
Oh, man, what a great night's sleep.
So that's our thing on the Great Outdoors. And if you've got a story of a bald bear or any close encounters.
What's the coolest thing you've seen outside?
Yeah, what is the coolest thing that you've seen outside or that you've done outside? Let us know. Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, and a quick addendum. If your name is Jonathan Colton and you're listening to this, we already know what you did outside on the 1st of May, and I don't need you to tell me anymore. We've already listened to the song. And if you haven't heard the song, 1st of May, Jonathan Colton.
Enjoy. I cannot play that on this.
There's a safe for work edition. Don't worry.
Is there?
Yes.
What's the point? I want to thank the patrons. You may have noticed that the Patreon is suspended right now. That does not mean I'm not putting things out, but I didn't put out an episode for May and I didn't put out an episode for June. This is probably the first months that I haven't put anything out since starting the Patreon campaign. I try to go for 2 a month, but well, if you've heard my recent episodes, you know things have been harder for me to get episodes out, but I am still here. I'm kind of back at it. I will be doing dog days, but I am going to suspend the charging on Patreon for the next month and this month and next month and probably September as well. I feel like if I miss 2 months, I should pause it for 3 months. I may end up pausing it indefinitely. I don't know. But I do like the idea that we're everything that you're donating is going to charity. So I kind of like that. Although I feel like maybe there's a better way to do that. I don't know. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for being here on the ride with me, and I will keep you posted. But I am going to be doing dog days. I am going to be continuing to podcast, but I just want to say thank you so much for continuing to stand by me. So thank you to our top tier big daddies. Thank you to Jax. Thank you to Rich, the TT. And then thank you to our patrons of the arts. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to Susanna, the Bathtub Mermaid, Everyday Travels, Kaylin. By the way, if you're wondering why do I read them the way that I do, I read them based on the name that is put here. I don't do last names just because I'm not sure people realize that their last name's going out there, but they know who they are. And if you want me to do the last name, you can always send me a message. But also thank you to all of our other patrons, the lifeblood, the majority of our patrons. So thank you to Mike, Kinsey, Ken, Shane, Ian, Harold, Stephen, Radical Geek, Greg, Zachman, Will, Clifford, and Selganor. I don't know why they're in the order that they're in. But anyway, that's the order they're in. They're not usually in this order. I have to figure it out. Patreon kind of changed their whole dashboard and scheme, so hopefully I got that all sorted. But thank you everyone for your donations. We're going to be sending a lot of these to cancer charities lately because the word I can't say on this podcast, to cancer. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal out there, and we've lost too many friends. So thank you so much everyone for your donations. This is all going to cancer charities for the remainder of the year. It's breaking my heart. But thank you so much, and talk to you next time. Bye. The Nutty Bites podcast is produced by Nimlas Studios under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International Deed. What this means is you can share it, but you can't change it, you can't make money off it, and you need to link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org. There you can find links to social media, Discord, our Facebook group, Patreon, or you can call us at 347-NUTTY-42. We do not consent to having AI scrape, learn from, or repurpose the Nutty Bites podcast.